What up, everyone, to all our allies, theys, and gays. This is the Lesbian Lounge. And today's topic that we're going to talk about, what do you want to say it is? You want to drop the good news, Holly?
No, I'm going to let you take it away.
All right. Well, today's episode is all about my coming out story. And it's going to get a little emotional and might hit some people in the feels because maybe you struggled with coming out or maybe you had a really great coming out story. But this is one of the hardest things for us gays, lesbians, bis, all the above. It is really tough to come out and say exactly who you are, but to also own your power.
So when did you know you were gay?
When did I know that when I was gay? I want to say taking it back to third grade and just really struggling with that because...
Well, tell us what happened in third grade.
In third grade, sorry guys, this is hard to relive it. I dressed up as a football player, as I told you. Halloween was not really my favorite until I met Holly, and I wore an entire football uniform, and we were out at
So gay.
Very gay. I got called a lot of different things, but one that really set home for me that traveled through my adulthood basically was being called a fucking dyke, and it was really, really tough to navigate that as a kiddo. And basically what happened when I dressed up as a football player, and it's going to be hard if you're listening to this on Spotify, trying to give you a visual. When someone tabletops you, so someone goes on all fours behind you not even knowing, and if you want to be a reference here, Holly, while we're sitting on the camera, someone is in front of you, talking to you, distracting you while the other person's getting behind, and then will shove you over and have you fall to the ground. And this happened to me out playing kickball, and I thought a lot of the people that were around me were my friends, and yeah, that day was pretty traumatic, and I got in trouble because I got up and decided to engage in fighting, and not really a great time. Did you have anything like that happen when you were in third grade or in elementary?
Can't say I did, but there was one gay kid growing up, that everybody knew. And what's funny is now we're both gay, okay, but we was in third grade. Oh, wait, was that third grade? Yeah, because that's the elementary school. And we was wrestling on the carpet, and then this asshole started making fun of us or whatever. And so now that I think about it, I'm like, joke's on you, we're both gay.
Is it somebody that you still talk to?
No.
No, not really. I think back to all the people that were with me that day of when I was bullied, and bullying is such a huge thing that happens nowadays where it's overlooked in education and not really supported. And this experience really was hard for me because that is a reason why I didn't come out and say who I was, even though I legitimately screamed fucking gay, wearing all of the athletic clothes, playing all of the sports, always playing with all the boys, and whooping some ass because I was...
Do you think you liked sports because you had all brothers?
Well, I have my sister Sid, and we were completely opposite, and that's why I think for a long time we didn't get along, is because I was angry with who I was and wasn't able to be the person that I wanted, and so taking it out on the people that I love. And then my brother, same thing, I had a very good relationship with him, so maybe that was easier to bond because we can bond over sports. We would always go out and when we went to the beach, I would be playing catch with him, and it was the best time ever because we both were good at it. And I had...
So you think you're really good?
I thought I was really good, man. I could have gotten D1 for football.
We love that.
But I did go D1
We love a sporty bean.
Yes. Football, but for the Europeans, football is soccer. So I did go to college for that, but we'll dive in there soon. And the whole experience when this whole incident happened in third grade, my mom, the principal got involved, had the conversation, and basically we didn't talk about what happened that day. It was like not telling me what the word dyke meant. I had no idea. I just knew that it was like I was being bullied and it was fucked up. And we just brushed under the rug, which you've met my family, and a lot of the stuff, like with that side, we don't talk about hard things, right? And that's one thing that I did not want to do anymore. I did not want to just keep shoving it down, because the more and more I did that, caused a lot of problems for myself. Now, getting into like middle school time was so weird too. I was trying to figure out who the hell I was, and I think anybody in middle school, if you were listening to this podcast, you can relate that middle school is very hard. How do you feel about middle school?
Actually, I really enjoyed middle school.
Oh my god, really?
Yeah.
Like just thriving?
I don't know, it was just so carefree, and like I don't know, but I had a way smaller school than you did.
Okay. Yeah, ours, I remember there was this kid that called me like the Spruce Brothers, because I had like hair this short and it was blonde, and I remember being out at the fields playing sports, of course, sports. For all the hard lesbians out there with the mask, you know what I'm saying? Like, we were just out there always rolling around in the dirt, apparently. Yeah, I got that name too, but then I like tried to start wearing makeup. If my sister's listening to this, if you remember when I was wearing eyeshadow, the hell eyeshadow.
What color of eyeshadow?
Oh god, if I were to pull back the pictures, it is so ridiculous. I cannot
love to see these.
They were pink eyeshadow.
Wow, I was gonna guess maybe like some blue.
Yeah, no, I definitely
Green.
remember the pink and the browns, and it just, ooh, that is the moment where I really, really was trying to fit in, like truly. And also, my mom, who did dance wear, had some clothing line. They named it after me, but then my grandma actually took over, and I remember going to dance recitals and working at dance conventions. Guys, if you know anything about me, I am not fucking girly. My grandma, if you're listening to this, you would know that I was never girly, but I was really, really trying for everybody around me so that I would feel loved and not, just to be accepted.
You were people pleasing.
Yeah, people pleasing for sure. And that's one of the things that I refuse to do ever again. Like, I would rather now own who I am by wearing clothing and getting this haircut. Now that I have this haircut, I feel so confident.
You look like you.
Yeah. The middle school days, another thing too that I think about when we would have dances and some of the crap I would wear, like, oof. My mom wanted me so badly to be girly. It just was not going to happen.
You had an outfit on in one photo, and I'm gonna guess it's high school, and it was like, I don't know. It wasn't giving. Maybe you wore it to a dance.
What was the color of it?
Was it turd? I don't know.
Oh God, yeah.
Do you know which one I'm talking about?
Yes, that was freshman.
That fit was really special.
That was a Sarah moment.
I know.
Sarah said, "Hey, we should make you look like this, and we should do your makeup and wear the neck." Like, I did all the things. Again, wanted to be accepted, wanted to be loved. That's what I thought I needed to do for my mom, because she had a girl, and moms want to have those times with their daughters and all that stuff. So I did all these things. Did I feel like myself? Abso-fucking-lutely not. But was she happy in that moment? Yes, even though I fought her.
Why didn't you tell her that you didn't want to wear it?
I think it was just easier to go with the flow. Easier, like, no confrontation, right? Confrontation with family is not fun. And I didn't want to get the nagging and the constant bullshit that would come with it. So that outfit that I wore that night, and my date, he was a great guy. And I remember getting asked by him, a nerdier dude, and this is where I started again to date guys and not truly feel connected to them. So when I didn't even mention this, there was a time when I was in elementary school, or maybe it was middle school, one of my cousins had a sleepover, and I'm like, why am I checking out girls? Like, what is happening? Like, this is so
We've
weird.
all been there.
We all have. Everybody's a little bi-curious.
Do you ever feel like awkward about it now, to think if your friends thought you had a crush on them, like hanging out?
You know, I don't really know. I think back to, like, in college, and you know this one, you know, Casey was a fucking bitch to you. That was really, really tough, and we were great friends.
Should we be dropping names?
I'm not saying the last name.
Okay.
It is what it is, and that was, you know, I think when people are that insecure, not every gay person is going after a straight person. And so I try to always, like, establish that boundary.
Also, I feel like people who say that are pretty much like nobody's type. Like,
Right.
we don't want you. You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, and you are already dipping your toe where it's a possibility you might get fucking hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Which I did date a person in secret, and that didn't fucking work. And that was not really the best move. But
Tell us what dating secretly means.
oh god. Well, you just try to act like there's nothing between you, but obviously there is. Like, my friends that were a part of our wedding, they knew about it. They're like, dude, I knew that you guys were, like, hooking up. And I'm like, awesome. Well, you know what? I was doing that secretively, but also still hooking up with
It
dudes.
doesn't really sound like it was a secret.
Well, I think it was more of my close friends. I was always denying it. And that relationship was in college. It was super toxic. It was like, you know, when you have that first love, quote unquote love, as a gay, you're like, oh yeah, this is what it's supposed to feel like. This is what it's supposed to be like. It was not. It was not healthy. And you get so the U-Haul moments, guys. We all know the U-Haul moments. You get so wrapped up in that shit.
Truly.
You just gotta pack your bags, pack a fucking car, and go.
Toss it in, let's leave.
Right. And, I go back to how that relationship was, and that one was secret, but that was after I had 2 incidents with 2 guys that I dated in college. Sports.
Mm-hmm.
Going to the sports. This is where I really try and explain to people that I do find men attractive, but I don't want to sleep with them. Like, when they have,
It's
like,
called
nice...
being a lesbian, sweetheart.
Yeah. Thank you. It's like looking at them and admiring the body that they got, the muscles.
But I feel like all the meaty ones that look good are assholes.
Oh, 9 times out of 10, hell yeah.
Like, they're pretty to look at, but that's about all.
Well, here's my thing. Here's my take. My hot take. Going to the gym and seeing men that are in there and they're just grunting.
We're detouring.
Okay, fine. We'll do that on
Do a wraparound.
We'll do a wraparound. So back to middle school and high school. I have not disclosed this on content and TikTok or anything, but I did join the football team in high school because my mother... a little backstory. My mom at an IEP meeting, because I was a special education student, I have a learning disability.
Gang, same. Actually, I think we had the same, right? Reading.
Mine was auditory processing of, like, just the comprehension
of what's
reading.
Yeah, reading and math for me.
Yeah, mine's reading. Math, it's my jam. Like, I pick that shit up so fast.
I remember being at the table and them screaming, "What is 8 times 7?" And I just cried. I don't know my
times table. Dude, I would slam those times tables so good.
That for you.
Yeah, me too. But that moment in that IEP meeting, my mom just really likes to be heard. Very much heard. And she told this story that I can kick a 50-yard field goal. And I'm like, ma'am, I have never been out on a football field in my fucking life to kick a football.
We love that Sarah was really trying to pull through for you
She was
at that moment in time.
She was a hype woman, for sure. Believed in me. I love that. And, there's parents out there that are living through their child in sports, and please do not be that person. Do not ruin the sport for them. And I'm not saying my parents did, but when she did that, I was just like, oh my God, now I really have to show out. Thank God I do know how to kick a ball in soccer, but then also...
she is, like, really good.
That D1 scholarship, just trying to give me a motherfucking scholarship in football. Not. Well,
you wanted it in football over soccer?
Oh, hell no. I wouldn't have done that. There's no way when I did this stuff in football games. I never actually had to do anything on varsity, but really didn't have the opportunity because I was also going out and traveling for schools and looking at them during the season. So I only helped out with JV and I never missed a kick. I did go against the guy that I slept with, so that's cool. So there was a little bit of tension and then not so much tension, because then he was like, all right, she's not taking my spot. I'm like, dude, I don't really give a fuck. Kick the football and I'll hang out on the sideline and drink Gatorade.
Did he tackle you?
Sure.
On the field, not in the bed.
Awesome. I couldn't pick it up.
You weren't picking it up. I had to freaking bring it up to you.
Oh my god. No, he actually never did, and there was, no, absolutely not. Thank God. I would have probably kicked some ass. I never had to actually tackle anybody when I played football. So okay, we're back. Another part of the story of why I really wasn't confident to come out why I was, or who I was and wanting to live that. I had a friend that ended up living with us that was junior year of high school. I got a phone call from one of my friends, and we played soccer together, and we were really close, and she got kicked out by her parents. Her parents found a love letter from her girlfriend, and so she's like calling me, come pick me up, and I'm like, all right. But we did not know what we were driving over to. My mom's like, what's happening? And I was like, I have no idea, but she needs help. We went to go get her, and then so I remember being in the car, and she's like, yeah, so I'm gay. And I turn around, and I'm like, the fuck? That moment there, I was like, man, can I actually come out if I wanted to? And that's when I was like secretively with this person, like hooking up, but again, not ready to own who I was in high school. And I was very, very, very angry throughout high school. And no one was there to actually support me. I know that my stepmom and my dad were ones that would 100% have supported me because they could tell in some regard, but they never pushed or anything like that. But being in my home with my mom and my stepdad, I just did not feel like I could say anything. And my mom, the way that things were when she didn't like acknowledge, the whole thing that happened as a kid, and then when I was so angry, being like a certain way to her, a certain way to my brother, and I know it's not right by any means, so I take complete ownership of that. But she'd always say, like, why are you such a bitch? And why are you this way? Why are you this way? And I'm like, I wish I could tell you, but I'm like in a fucking box trying to ask for help, but I don't know how to ask for help because no one's fucking taught me this damn skill of like, I need help, I need to talk about this, but I don't know how to talk about it because no one around me truly was a safe space. Again, my stepmom and my real dad, yes, safe space, but I didn't live with them. So that was like a zone that I didn't really want to tap into, and another reason why I didn't talk about things that was going on in the home that I was living in. It was so much easier to just shove it down. And another piece of like how I coped with all of this stuff is that I used to self-harm. And I know how bad that looks for people when they hear it like goes to negative and like your cry for help. No one ever noticed. No one ever picked up on it, but I do remember my brother one day noticed something on my arm, and we had a bunch of cats, and he's like, hey, Kaz, what's that on your arm? And I was like, oh, that's from the cat. He knew it wasn't, but he didn't do anything. And I just like let it go. Again, I did not know how to cope. I like truly did not. And so my way of like to be accepted and to not feel like that abandonment by my mom was to do things around the house to like really help out my brothers and like clean, and I did everything. I fucking did everything to just want to feel loved. And I didn't know how to say who I was. And, being told, like, you gotta wear this, you gotta, like, it wasn't me. It was not me. And I wish I could have, oh, you're just showing everybody your booty in the camera.
Shout out to Buckle. Anyway.
I just wish I could have had somebody to talk to and work through it, because I think if I would have done that, I wouldn't have been hiding for so many years and coping in negative ways. But when no one's asking you, or when they ask you, like, hey, how are you doing? You just say, I'm fine. Then no one goes any further. And it's always been easy that way. Like, that's another reason why I always put up this fucking wall. Like, I do have RBF. It runs in the family.
We know.
I know. My grandma and I look very similar. Holly had mentioned the other night when we were all hanging out. But I do have that RBF, and there's a reason why. You put up this wall, no one's going to ask. If you put up this, like, fake smile or whatever, no one dives in deeper. No one asks you the true things. And I just continued to lock that box, stay in that box, did the things that were safe and comfortable. Is there, like, for you, does that any of that resonate? Like, having to just try and people please or feel comfortable?
Because of which scenario?
Well, just, you know, like in high school or any part of your life, like, you know, obviously we've been together 10 years, but for you, just to, like, ask you a question and see if you're gonna,
just trying to, like, have you, like, I need you to, like, break it down a little more.
Like for me, it's like, did
specifically
you feel like you were ever in a box?
Well, yeah, I wasn't allowed to be who I wanted to be, and so I lied a lot.
Yeah.
Which I hate.
Yeah, I know.
But now I don't have to do that, so.
No, you don't. And I will say, this version of you now, the last 2 years that we've been growing together, like, in healthy ways, guys, like, it's been a long fucking journey, but these last 2 years of us as a couple and individually is amazing.
You gotta work on yourself and love yourself before you can fully love another person.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And so we had a few long 8 years. But you know what? Better late than never.
Right. And I think a lot of people would run when shit gets hard.
Yeah.
But there has always been something about you that... But truly, like, there's always been this, like, I want to be better. You call me out on my shit.
Oh, yeah, I do. I love getting to do that.
Yeah, well, you know, you... That is when you know that this is the person. That's the person that you want to grow with. That is the person that you want to be better for. And it's not just, like, as a couple, but again, for myself, like, I want to continue to grow and grow and grow and not stay stuck like I was for years. But I think that's where it began, you know, when we get to college and we cross paths. And that was in the first experience, actually. Laura, shout out to my girl, my maid of honor.
Love Laura.
We do love Laura. She took me under her wing. And I'm really glad that I crossed paths with her in college. She was older than me. And senior, or maybe a fifth year senior, I can't remember. But I was freshman or sophomore year that we crossed paths, and we went to the gay bar. And
shout out SoCo, R.I.P.
I know. I'm so bummed that, like, that shut down completely because it was such a great time and a safe space and a reason.
Slaughtered we would get.
Most definitely. The just like the experiences that we had, like her taking me out, and then I remember she dropped me off like at the dorms because it was an 18F bar. And we'd go to the drag shows, and she'd be like, Cass, go give some dollar bills to the drag queens. Go. And then...
Laura, not me.
Yeah. This we haven't crossed paths yet. And she would drop me off, and she'd be like, Cass, I know you're a lesbian. I was like, nah, dude. Like, fuck no. Deny, continuing to deny. And that was my opportunity, guys, to, like, speak up and say to this person who's created this space for me to be able to open up. And for whatever reason, I continue to say no. And then I was a part of the Mizzou soccer team, and I never felt like I belonged on that team. Like, truly. My roommate was complete opposite. So let me put this in perspective. I'm California swagger with the freaking Rastafari, the beach.
The swagger.
Well, you know, that's
California's realist.
Yeah, California's realist, but people would say, oh, you come with that California swag, like that Compton clothing, all this stupid stuff that, like, people think of LA. And I was my roommate for freshman year was when we started the school year season, when we moved over across by the athletic facility. She was from Texas. Sorority chick, blonde hair, blue eyes, very much complete opposite. And
Am I thinking of the wrong roommates?
Macy.
Yeah, I was just talking about the ones whenever we met.
Oh,
Or that you were
yeah, no, we'll get there. But remember your mic. The
Remember your mom. Anyway.
the experience with her was like interesting, and I really tried with her as well. I remember I decorated her room for her birthday. I had a couple other girls that like wouldn't include me on stuff. I just did not feel like I fit, and it sucked. So that's when I became friends with older girls on the team. I'm glad that happened, because I just began to feel more alone in this process. And I'm across the fucking country, and I'm not telling anybody at home that I'm struggling significantly and I'm feeling depressed and I'm feeling like I can't get anywhere with my life because I don't know where I belong. And the more and more I was around that class, I continued to separate myself as much as possible. They're all from Texas, and there's a couple from Kansas City, and I just wasn't a vibe. I didn't mesh. But there was a couple that I did, and one of them was actually from California. I'm really glad I had her around, and they took me into their apartment and like let me stay the night and stuff like that. But then when I got to this whole dating process with the first guy, it was a football player.
Shocker.
Right. Fucking stupid. Going back to what I did in middle school, like I was putting myself in this bubble and wearing these clothes. I mean, if I could pull up the shit that I was wearing then, I got cowboy boots, which I do love my cowboy boots.
I believe you went out in a pair of Toms.
That too.
And a photo that I saw.
Well, that screams gay, I feel like.
That screamed something.
I'm
not quite sure gay.
Well, the outfits that I wore when I...
teacher for sure.
Okay. They were just little slippies. They had...
Stinky slippies.
Sick. The clothing on this get together with this person, they're from Texas, they're like in a really nice area, and they said, hey, you want to go back to my house for spring break? Do you want to come home and we can go do all of these things? And I was like, yeah. And then he was like, actually, you do need to make sure that you cover your tattoos. And at the time, I didn't have very much. I had one on my leg and then just one little small one. So I didn't have sleeves yet. Trying to hide this and wear long sleeves and act a certain way and talk a certain way, what the fuck was I thinking?
It's already a red flag. No for me.
Yeah. This is your reminder. Do not change yourself for somebody else. They should love you for exactly who you are. But I didn't love me. And I thought if I did all the right things, then that person would love me back. Abso-fucking-lutely not. Learn the hard way, dating straight vibes, okay? This person broke up with me when we got back because I didn't like pecan pie and grits. Do you even like pecan pie and grits?
Absolutely no.
Yeah, it's fucking terrible. And then he goes, you're not a Southern belle. I said, no shit.
Didn't you forget you're from California?
Yeah, like I had my hair like to the side. And I did wear makeup, but it did not scream with the other stuff. Like, my roommate would have been the perfect option instead of myself. So that happened, and I was the running joke around the school. They're like, oh, dude, you got broken up over this. I'm like, fuck you guys. And it was annoying, and that one passed. And then there was this other guy. It was junior year. I didn't even switch out of the athletic area. I stayed in that and dated a wrestler. What in the hell? I thought I learned the first time, but here's the thing. When you're an athlete and you're doing all the things in college athletics, schedules are crazy. This is like a full-time fucking job that no one gets, and like you have to fully commit to it. And if your partner doesn't commit, doesn't commit, I know I'm getting there. And I'll let you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm
building the
scenery.
scene.
Okay.
Yes, building the scenery.
We love that.
Yes. Dating this guy, and it just didn't mesh well either.
Was it because he had a Peter?
God damn.
You literally been cussing up a storm. I think that I'm allowed to say. And I said Peter.
Right. That's just fun. You just really threw me off there.
I know. Keep you on your toes.
It definitely was. But this individual, good guy, but they did not... The drinking was a huge problem. and took it out on me on some points, and then accused me because my teammates from college are telling him she's fucking gay. Why are you with her? Like, my own teammates are doing that. So this is where, again, I start to question, where do I belong? Where do I fit in? Who are the people that I can trust? And that really sucked. And this is where we fast forward a little bit more, and I meet you.
Our favorite part of the story.
Yeah, everybody's just been sitting on the edge of their seats, I hope. Maybe. I don't know. Who,
They've been learning about
Peters?
The
2015, was it? Halloween?
Yes, correct.
What were you wearing when I met you?
Which night?
Let's go to first night. Break that down for me.
Drunk 1 and drunk 2.
Yeah, were you drunk 1 or 2?
I wish I could tell you. I think I was 1.
I want to say you were 1 too. 1 as well, I should say, to be clear there. And my friend, I was there that night already at SoCo. So this is where our story starts to begin. And I did not do anything because she was very intoxicated, so I didn't engage in any of that. I was like, we said hi. I don't even think you remember that. And
were you dressed up that night? No, you were in your pink Cancer soccer.
Oh shit!
Stuff,
Yeah, that's right. Wow, damn, that's good, babe.
Thank you.
Damn, that we literally got done with our soccer game. I was like, I'm going out, and everybody's like, we're going out, and I'm like, well, I'm going to the fucking gay bar, because that's what any straight person that is listening, our allies are listening to this. You know how fun it is to go to a gay bar. You feel more safe, and you can just have the best time.
You don't really have to worry about anyone hitting on you. I mean, unless you're looking fine and you want to be hit on, but I feel like most people they're doing their own thing.
Right. Yeah. So then night 2 rolls around, and I'm out at a baseball party, and my friend Laura calls me and is like, dude, your girl's here. And I was like, what? Get in my car, skied on over.
What was the car? What were we driving at the time?
I was driving a little 2003 Kia Optima. That is a whammy.
She was real cute.
It was a panty dropper.
She sure was.
Let it rip, tater chip. I get down to SoCo downtown, and man, there again, going back to when you meet the love of your life, everything just clicks.
Are you going to ask me what my costume was?
Oh, I'm getting there.
Okay.
I'm going to let you just drum roll. What was it?
A Playboy bunny.
So fitting.
And I had long extensions.
Oh my gosh, my favorite when I first met you. I was in love with her long hair. She looks...
It was fake.
Yeah, but I didn't know that.
But she looked pretty. She looked good.
I didn't know that, but you look so beautiful. This is the person that I gotta find more about. Like, I gotta know more about this. I gotta dive into this.
Cutesy.
And then I realized she was playing hard to get. All of her friends were there, and...
She was Alex Voss.
I was.
From Orange is the New Black.
Yep.
We're painting the scene.
You're doing it real nice. Laura's getting you ghetto Kool-Aids.
She sure was. Always coming through with the ghetto Kool-Aids.
Do you know what the ghetto Kool-Aids were?
I couldn't tell you, but it did the job.
Oh man, you wake up that next morning and your head is just hammered.
Yeah, that was the worst part about them.
I know, right? I can't say that I enjoyed it myself, but that's also why I think I did struggle as well, is because like I was coping now with alcohol in this time frame. And we talked, and the next day I told...
Did we? I think you're missing a key part of the story.
I tried to kiss you?
Yeah.
And you did it. And she did like one of these, swerved out.
I had a boyfriend at the time.
Yeah, listen. Let me paint the picture of Holly. She's got a lip piercing, and I'm like, she ain't gay, or she ain't straight. She's got to be bisexual or something, because she's showing up with this girl every time, and I'm like, there's no way. There is no way. So again, I had to know more about her. So then the next day, I did get her number. And I had my friend Laura. We went to the football game the next day. We went out to Willie's.
You were trying to get me to come play beer pong, actually.
Oh,
after
shit.
that night.
Yeah. Man, you were like really helping me. I had 7 concussions, and I don't remember shit sometimes. And she's the memory block.
Also, you were like a heavy drinker, so.
Yeah, that didn't help. I every time I had one too many, I typically blacked out.
Such a fun time.
No, it wasn't. It was not. When The next day, I text her, and she didn't text me for like 4 hours. And I'm telling Laura, I'm like, oh my God, how do I flirt with a girl? How do I do this? How does this world work? Because I was I knew that now I'm like, yeah. If I'm getting the butterflies like this, and I know that she's with somebody, but I also like really am interested, I don't like boys. Period.
Boys are ill.
Ill. So, I realized that she's a hairstylist because I started doing a little stalking on her Instagram and everything.
That's what it does.
Yeah. And it wasn't even MySpace or anything, it was just Instagram, right? Like, I think it was just
Instagram was kind of fresh.
Instagram. And Laura was like, dude, just give it some time, like, play it cool. That following week, I was going to be leaving for a soccer tournament out in Orange Beach, and we were, like, talking back and forth. But I also, again, knew that I had my friend Jess ask me when we were in class a couple days later. She's like, hey, so if things work out with Holly, would you stay? And I was like, nah, dude, this is like a one-time thing. Like, let's see what it's about. Not really commit.
She was so interested in me.
I know. So, do you want me to tell everybody how you said I can't get over you?
I mean, yeah, but you're like skipping a few chapters.
I know. Well, this would be a whole episode, guys, of our whole entire love story of.
Yeah, this is about
down.
you, not about us.
Right.
Okay? Are we detoured again?
I mean, we're back.
Okay.
When you and I were talking, you also helped me out with Layla. Like, we were briefly.
R.I.P.
I know.
Sweet girl.
Even though she was with a guy, we were briefly chatting, and then I would watch Cooper every so often, and she'd bring her over to the house. They had play dates. I was falling more and more for her the more I hung out with her.
You weren't the only one.
I'm so glad. Again, that's why I know I needed to know more. The whole process of how, like, it started to continue, and I was going home for spring break of 2015, and I wasn't out yet because I'm in another state, so I could live a whole nother life while people are in California. I think
this was Christmas.
No, this was spring when I decided.
It was New Year's Eve when I told you, because I was moving out of my boyfriend's house and back home and was getting no response.
Yes, that is true.
As I'm watching your child.
Yep, you're watching my child, and as I'm back home, I didn't say anything then, but when I came back and then I realized you were no longer with that person, I was like, all right, okay. Then we kind of started to date secretively because you weren't out, I wasn't out, and I would go hang out with your friends. But when I went to the 2015 spring break, that was the official day that I decided to own that I am a lesbian, and
I've got a big lesbian crush on you.
The biggest, man, the biggest. Okay, let's paint the picture on how I decided to do this, because I have two families, and I have my mom's side and my dad's side. I knew that my dad's side was going to be a lot more easy for whatever reason. My dad always bought me more of the sporty stuff. My mom always got me the girly shit for Christmas. Fucking hated the girly, loved the sporty. That's how you know your one parent pays attention to who you are and doesn't try to shove shit for you to fit in.
Rick would buy me camo clothing for Christmas, thinking I would love it because it had pink with the camo. So I get it. I understand.
Yeah, definitely. It's sometimes read the room, like pay attention.
We love the effort. We love the effort.
Yes, definitely. When I came out to my dad and my stepmom at the time, I did it at a restaurant. So I did it in public places. And it was just so much easier that way because no one could make a fucking scene. And then they were great. My stepmom, I loved her response because I started crying after. She was like, honey, we've known since you were 3. And I just looked at her and I'm like, what? You didn't want to tell me sooner? You didn't want to help me with this?
She's like, you weren't reading the room, sweetie.
Yeah. And I just started crying because it was like really a relief for me to get that kind of response. And they were both like, we love you for you and we want you to be happy. And then that's when I said, I do have a girlfriend. We started dating. We were dating then. And then I asked my godmother, who is amazing to me and has been there basically since I've been in college, and our relationship is amazing. I couldn't picture life without her. But the time when I came out to my mom and I asked my godmother, I was like, hey, will you go with us? Again, wanted to do this in public because it's easier, and I know how my mom is, so she can't make a scene in public. But her response when I said I'm gay was fucking ridiculous. Like, this is one thing where you know that person, it wants to make it about them. And that's not what it's about. It's about me. So when I said it, she goes, oh, honey, I think I'm gay. And I legitimately said, do you want to eat pussy, Mom? And she just looked at me and she goes, well, no, but I do find so-and-so attractive. I said, if you don't want to do the act, you are not. So no, Sarah. That really like kind of just bothered me for a while because I'm like, again, this was not about you. And I was so, when you're getting ready to say the stuff, the biggest reason why we don't say who we are and the coming out story and why it's such a big deal is because you might be shunned from your family. You might be disowned. You might not even have, like, they might even consider you family anymore. Like, nothing. Or it can go the complete opposite and they love you for exactly who you are and are just showering love. Like, I want to meet this person. I had a little, anger towards that. But then I'm like, you know what? That's who she is. I have to let that go. And when all of this started to go down, the more and more that I started to say I was a lesbian, I realized I started to struggle even more. Like, not loving who I was truly. When Holly and I were out in public and stuff like that, I was a person that would drink to cope what I was going through. I definitely knew that I was not okay. I was out, but I was not okay with who I was. There's always the backlash from people in public, and people would say, oh, you're a fucking lesbian, you're this, you're that, and it was a lot for me. It truly was.
For you?
Well, I mean, it was just because everything that happened, as a kid, and then I'm like, damn, like, this is why I didn't want to, but I knew that I wanted to come out with you. Like, you were my safe space. You were my safe zone.
It made me feel unsafe when you were trying to brawl with people.
I know, and I'm really sorry. All that stuff that I did, like, that wasn't right, and if I would have just taken time to do a deeper work, like I talk about with my clients, and getting clear of why are we acting this way. I act that way because what happened when I was a kid and I didn't deal with that trauma. I didn't work through that trauma and I held on to it. And so when people would say something, it was a trigger and I didn't know how to cope with it. And what I really needed to do was just let them be them. They're always going to have opinions. They're always going to have thoughts. But I get to live my best life. And I think for other people that are listening to this, of when you are trying to figure out or understand why people don't love you or accept you, you can't get it. Unfortunately, there's gonna be times where that's gonna happen. And that's why having a community is so important. Being a part of this, listening to us and how we navigate through it. I want you to understand that you're not alone. It's scary as fuck, but there is other people that are doing things for themselves and being able to rise above and not let that bring them down anymore. I was really, really shitty our first couple years of our relationship. I know that. And I'm sorry that was how we were, but I'm really glad that you didn't give up on me. And we worked through it together and navigated it, because I don't know where I would be today. I'm a better person because of you, but also because I decided I need to do more. And going into teaching and all those times, those were hard. And I still didn't get it, why I was struggling. Like, truly struggling. And when I went into a job, the person, I wasn't trying to say who I was when I went into this small town of teaching. I didn't want to say, like, I have a fiance. They basically outed me, not knowing. And she goes, oh, you're my stylist. You're so-and-so's fiance. I was like, oh, shit. So that was out of the bag, and I started to relive more trauma in this area of my life, where being called a fucking faggot, being called a fucking lesbian bitch, and no one...
But who called you that? Where?
Students in my first teaching job in Boonville.
You were at which school?
The high school. Yeah, and it makes me so angry to know that I let those people put me in a box and not like be who I am and be confident in that. I came home angry. I drank a lot. Like, I don't know how many times I'd be like, hey babe, I'm gonna get a bottle of wine. And for, you know, the person that was my boss at the time, like, to tell me to my face, you don't belong here, that hit me. And
you know what? We didn't belong there.
no, we didn't.
They pushed us on to better places.
Yeah, they did. And you know what? All of those things that happened in those 4 years led me to this point. To empower other gays, theys, and thems of like, you can get through this. You just have to be willing to show up for yourself every single day. Have somebody to support you. And it's okay to struggle. I struggled for a long time, but I don't struggle anymore. Even though it's hard for me to talk about it right now. But I am the best version of myself because I chose myself. I choose myself every day. I start with is getting either out for a walk with the dogs, having coffee with my wife.
When I get up.
Yeah, when she gets up. Or doing some daily affirmations, that positive self-talk. Like, I cannot tell you how much that truly has helped me with setting the intention in the morning. Talking to yourself in a way that, like, you can do this, you got this, we are doing the damn thing today, as I say. We're showing up for ourselves because no one gets to fucking take that anymore. No one is going to put me in a box and make me feel that way. Because I'm in control of my thoughts and I'm in control of what I get to do for myself moving forward. I can't control the past, but I control today. And when I'm with you, I am damn confident in that we can take anything on because throughout all our years, we have overcome a lot of shit. And we're here to empower, we're here to help you, guide you, whatever it is that you need of being a part of this lesbian lounge. And I always like to tell people...
Lounging with the lesbians.
What I like to always tell people of everything that I talked about today or what we talk about on the Lesbian Lounge is like, take some type of action and doing something for yourself, whatever that might be, but this small action, we want you to do something for us. And what would that be, babe? What do we want them to do?
We want you to pull up a seat.
Uh-huh.
And we want to...
Let's grow together.
Yeah, fucked up. Pull up a seat and let's...
grow together.
Yes.
You got it now. You got it. We're Les growing
Sometimes
together.
my brain and my mouth don't work at the same time.
I love you, though.